Hi, I'm Nick, and this is the TbT channel. Welcome to part 2 of our HW9777 stripping, tuning and rebuilding guide. This part is on how to fit a TbT kit. So in part 1, up until the point you watched, you saw me take the gun apart. It is now spread out before me in pieces. What we're going to look at now are the kits available from TbT for your rifle, what each of them do, which one it is you want, and how you should fit it. So I'm just going to butt in here because what I forgot to tell you was we need to get the piston into a cordless drill, tighten that up, and then spin it. We're looking for any oscillation at the tail end of the piston there. If it does that, that means that the latch rod isn't central, which could make the shot cycle erratic, could even damage the guides. If it is out of line, you can just bend it by hand until it runs straight. And this is also the time to polish your piston. So start with medium wet and dry, then fine wet and dry, and finally auto sole to get the whole thing shiny. You polish the piston, but you only degrease the inside of the compression tube, as you were. So first thing we need to do is just make sure everything is degreased. Okay, get all the old grease off of it, because it's either defunct and you want to replace it, or it's a brand new gun and you definitely want to replace it. Now the compression tube, you'll see this one's black. That's just because I had it blacked at the same time I had the gun blacked. As per video 1, there was lots needed doing to this gun, so I made sure I did it how I wanted it to be. The compression tube needs to be degreased inside every time the piston comes out. Okay, so squirts, and we're using brake cleaner here. You can use other products. Some people use Industry Clean from Worth. I used to work for Worth. It is a very, very good product. I do have plenty of Industry Clean, but my wife won't let me use it for guns because she likes to use it in the house and she considers it hers. So my compression tube is degreased. We're going to pop him there. And now we're going to look at the piston. Now, in the first video, part 1 of this, I said the gun was running at 15 foot-pounds. I was wrong. I forgot that earlier this year I went to the UK, I went to the Springer Bash near Melton Mowbray, so I actually short stroked the rifle to make it sub 12 foot-pounds to take it to the UK. So the rifle, the piston has a short stroke on the front there. So that leads us straight into the kits that are available from us, from TbT, for your HW97 or 77. There are 3. There are 2 maxi kits and the Maxi Pro. So the maxi kit, the basic kit, is one of our premium springs with fitted guides, top hat and rear guide. These are the new F1 springs you will have seen. We're getting made for us by the British motorsport industry. The maxi kit has fitted guide at the rear, fitted top hat at the front, also comes with a slip washer and power washers to adjust the power should you need it. Now when you first get the kit, you'll need to take the rear guide out of the spring. To do this, if it's tight, it's a clockwise twist and then the spring comes out. If you try and pull it straight out and it's tight, it won't, because the spring will grip it. So it's always a clockwise twist, and if it's tight, marigold gloves help. So we take the rear guide out and we pop the flange through there, so that the little collar on the rear guide sits inside the recess on the flange, and then that goes back in there. So that's with all of the kits. That's what you need to do before you put it in there. So the maxi kit is this in 2 different spring lengths: the 31 coil spring, which is suitable for sub 12 foot-pounds, the UK kit, or the export kit, which is for over 12 foot-pounds, up to 15. The reason for this we'll come on to with the Maxi Pro, actually. So that's the 2 options with the spring kits. The Maxi Pro kit is the UK spec spring, so the 31 coil maxi kit, plus a short stroke extension and a pot of our bum slide high moly paste. Now the short stroke extension, the reason for this, the reason I have one on the front of my piston there, when the HW77 first came out, it had a 25mm piston. If you Google the 77, you will you won't fail to notice that people talk about the 25mm piston. It was the best thing since sliced bread. It produced, it had the perfect amount of air in front of the piston for sub 12 foot-pounds, which meant the piston could travel as fast as it wanted. It stayed legal. The shot cycle was sweet. It was lovely. In about 1993, I believe, Weihrauch decided they could sell more guns if it was more powerful, because there's other markets around the world that don't need a 12 foot-pound gun. So they increased the piston from 25mm to 26. And this meant it pushed out significantly more air in front of the piston, which means it could do 15 foot-pounds instead of 12. The upshot of that for us in the UK was to make it shoot at 12 foot-pounds, the piston had to travel slower. Okay, so it's pushing the same amount of air, but if you push the air more slowly, the pellet doesn't travel as quickly, it stays legal. And what that meant was it was just a little slower in the firing cycle, the shot cycle, and it led to a little bit more hold sensitivity. So everything takes a little longer to happen and to stop happening during the shot. And this means hold sensitivity increases. So technique becomes more and more important to try and get a good group. So to counter this, we simply put an 8mm extension on the front of the piston, which reduces the movement of the piston by 8mm and reduces the amount of air that is pushed ahead of the piston back to the same as it was with a 25mm piston. So now this travels faster over a shorter distance. It can still go over 12. It's still possible for these to go over 12. They don't reduce the power. They reduce the power potential. All it means is this will now shoot its best under 12 foot-pounds instead of at 15 foot-pounds. And the upshot for you as the end user, it just makes it shoot like a 25mm piston gun. And that's it. And that's the short stroke. And to fit that, all you need to do is get your short stroke. It's best to put it in a mug of boiled water first, just for 30 seconds, just to make it a little bit more supple. You take the piston seal off the front of the piston, put the piston into the back of the short stroke extension, get a brass, rubber or wooden mallet and give it a good whack, and it will just pop on. Okay, so the extension will pop onto there, and then you put your seal onto the front of the extension. It will move, it twists around, but that doesn't matter. When it's inside of the compression tube, everything is held in place, so it can't physically move when it's inside the gun. So don't worry if there's a little bit of wiggle on it there. So that is it. The Maxi Kit UK basic under 12 foot-pounds. If you want full power, it's the Maxi Export, but if you want it to shoot its best under 12 foot-pounds, and by far the most popular kit we sell is the Maxi Pro kit with the short stroke extension. If you have any questions about these, just drop me a line or ring me. As you know, I'm always here. I'm always happy to help. Go back to part one now, and what we're going to do is lube the gun up and rebuild it. And after you've completed these steps, your HW97 will be as good or better than any other HW97 in the world. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. We have lots of these videos coming out at the moment. I will see you very soon. Goodbye.